Good morning, ladies and gents, and welcome to week 2 of our English 101 class. At the beginning of every week, I'm going to post a video like this that's going to walk you through expectations for the week, where to find resources, what kind of deadlines are coming up. All of that helpful information will be contained right here. So at the beginning of each week, do make sure to check the announcements, watch through the videos. They'll be full of helpful tips to be successful, as well as reminders about assignments that are coming due and how to earn your maximum amount of points. So to kick off this week's chat, we've gone into the calendar tab right here on Canvas. Today is the 6th of July. Can you believe it's the second week of July already? This has been the weirdest year. So as we're looking at this week ahead of us, I would like you to start by viewing a PowerPoint called Murder, Not Muck Duck. As you've been reading Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie, which is a fabulous book, by the way. Agatha Christie, she knows her stuff. She's got a great turn of phrase, really excellent imagination and use of language. All of that is stuff I'm going to be talking about in the PowerPoint recorded lecture, Murder, Not Muck Duck. So do make sure to check that out. I'll show you in the modules tab where it is in just a minute. So that's your homework for today, is to watch through that video. Tomorrow, your homework is to answer questions in the discussion board about your reading over the weekend from Murder on the Orient Express, chapters 1 through 5. There are just some reading comprehension questions and some opportunities for us to dig a little deeper and hopefully help us focus on parts of the novel that are going to be significant later on. So answer those questions in the discussion board by Tuesday. On Wednesday, you're going to be watching another recorded lecture. This is Close Reading Strategies, Part 1 and 2. This is going to talk about how to read through a book in a more academic fashion than just our regular entertainment style. It'll talk about figurative language, metaphors, symbolism, all of that good stuff that's a part of literary analysis and will form components of your upcoming essay. So do make sure to watch through those Close Reading Strategies, Parts 1 and 2. You are going to also be answering some discussion board questions based on an article called Is Justice Different from Revenge? This article is by a PhD, very smart dude named Leon Selter. It was published in Psychology Today, and he breaks down different definitions of justice and revenge, because as we get into our first major essay of the course, we're going to be taking the book Agatha Christie wrote, Murder on the Orient Express, and we're going to be using some compare and contrast strategies to create an argument. And we're going to be arguing whether justice or revenge is the true theme of that book. And if we're correct, and the thing we've chosen is the true theme of the book, what kind of implications does that have for the reader? And what does it mean for us as humans if we identify the character's actions in this way? So this article is really helpful because it gives you a very clear, strong working definition of both of the terms. In fact, I would strongly, strongly recommend you use the article, How is Justice Different from Revenge, as one of the sources for your first essay project. So please read it carefully. If you've got a printer, feel free to print it out and highlight it and write in the margins. This is an article you're going to want to hang on to, you're going to want to fully understand, and you're going to want to use for your first essay as one of your sources. So familiarize yourself with it very well. Answer those discussion board questions on Wednesday. On Thursday, we're going to be viewing another very fun lecture video, Murder Mystery Tropes. This talks a little bit about murder mystery as a genre. Agatha Christie is known as the queen of this genre. She is the best at writing murder mysteries. She's sold millions and millions of copies of her books. She's a prolific writer, wrote 66 novels. I mean, that's a bunch, guys. So she kind of set the pattern that all of the other detective fictions follow. So check out that really cool PowerPoint. It lets us know more about the book, more about Agatha Christie, and how she might be trying to convey some big ideas to her readers. Over the weekend, you're going to be reading more of Murder on the Orient Express, specifically chapters 6 through 8. If you can read more than that over the weekend, I would highly encourage you to do so, because we are going to start writing, we are going to start writing the first couple drafts of the essay next week. We're going to be working on thesis statements, outlines, all of that. All of that writing is going to be so much easier for you if you have finished the book before you write the essay. So I've only assigned this much reading, but I would highly, highly recommend that you read more than that over the weekend. Try and get as far through the book as you can, because the further you get in the book, the easier writing the essay will be. So that's where we're at. This calendar tab, of course, very useful as we're trying to figure out what we need to focus on during the week. And then if we go into our class, we click on the modules tab and we scroll down to project 1. Everything you need to be successful in the project is located for you here, including all of the recorded lectures, supplemental materials, essay prompts. Everything is in this folder for you. So if you ever have any questions, you're not sure where to start, you need some background information, go check out this folder first, because it's amazing. So the first one, we've got Murder Not Muck Duck. Here's a recorded lecture for you, as well as the lecture has a video clip embedded in it. It's a fun, about 10-minute video of Agatha Christie and a real-life mystery that she was a part of. So it's really fun. It's from a show on Comedy Central called Drunk History. The premise of the show is that they find a person who is an expert on a topic. So in this case, they found a woman who is an expert on Agatha Christie. She knows tons and tons about Agatha Christie. They then get this person very, very drunk. And then they have them tell the recorder everything about their area of expertise. So in this case, the very drunk woman is going to tell you all about Agatha Christie, a disappearance she was a part of, and the mystery surrounding that. They then hire actors to act out the drunk person's story, and it is amazing as it sounds. So do feel free to check it out as you watch Murder Not Muck Duck to familiarize yourself with Agatha Christie and some of her background. Our literary analysis close reading strategies videos are posted here. I do try and keep our videos fairly brief. I don't think any of the videos exceeds 15 minutes. So if you're pressed for time, I know we are in a crazy period in our history. Nobody's got time to sit down and listen to an hour-long lecture. So I try and cap my lectures at 15 minutes. So this Murder Not Muck Duck, under 15 minutes. Close reading strategies was a lot of material to cover. So the first video is 15 minutes. The second video is like 5 minutes. So about 20 minutes total viewing time there. We've got our murder mystery tropes. If you want to familiarize yourself on symbolism, this is some extra material. If you want some reminders on what symbolism is, if it's been a while since you've been in a writing class, I know in high school they cover symbolism, I think at least junior and senior year, hopefully before that, but who knows. So if you need a refresher, there's a little bit on symbolism. If you want to have a little bit of historical context for Murder on the Orient Express, what was going on in the world when Agatha Christie was writing this book, because the world was a crazy, super interesting place at this time period. I also have a recorded lecture talking about what England was doing, what America was doing, what all the countries that the Orient Express travels through were doing. So you've got some good backgrounds. For example, you might wonder why the novel starts with everyone inexplicably on vacation in Syria. Because nowadays, Syria is not really a place people go for vacations, right? It's been through a lot of turmoil, really unsafe the last couple years. But at the time Agatha Christie wrote this book, it was actually a very popular tourist destination. People in England got tired of the rain and the cold, so they'd flit on over to Syria for some sunshine and hot, dry heat of the desert. So check out that historical context. Really interesting stuff there. And then as we continue to scroll down, Murder on the Orient Express was based on a real-life murder mystery case. Charles Lindbergh, a very famous aviator, had a 20-month-old son who was kidnapped and was later found murdered. And so that forms the basis of Agatha Christie's work as well. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check out that PowerPoint. Lots of interesting details for you there. I do want to call your attention to the ways that this folder is separated. The first bit is recorded lectures. The second bit is supporting material. So this is stuff that I think is going to be helpful for you. Most of it's not required, but I think it'd be helpful. So this first bit, vocabulary and French language guide for Murder on the Orient Express. Some of the characters use French phrases. If you're not fluent in French, this might be helpful. There is a diagram of the train car for my more visual learners so that you can see where people were at and who might have had access to murder a particular person on the train. There are some great chapter excerpts from a book called How to Read Literature Like a Professor by Thomas Foster. He teaches us how to do some close reading strategies. So in Don't Read With Your Eyes, he talks about how to experience a text. In Is That a Symbol? He talks about finding symbols in a text and how really anything can be a symbol as long as you support it with examples and specific places in the story that you think symbolism occurred. We can do that. And then the last chapter I've attached from him is called More Than It's Going to Hurt You, and that's about violence in literature and what authors might be trying to accomplish with the way that they talk about violence or the way that they portray it. A psychological approach to revenge and justice. This is that really good article where we're defining revenge and justice by Leon Seltzer, linked for you here as well as through that discussion book or a discussion board. And then a compare and contrast writing activity if you need some help familiarizing yourself with the writing genre. Then as we get into the essay subheading right here, these are step-by-step instructions for writing the essay. This first PowerPoint is a compare and contrast lecture for you. It talks about compare and contrast as a writing genre, why it's a part of academic writing and what kind of value it might have. And then we talk a little bit about the prompt. If you want to download the Word doc of the prompt, I've got it linked for you here. I also have a recorded lecture that's going to walk you through the prompt, the thesis statement, and the outline step by step. So when we get to the essay part, I highly encourage, cannot recommend enough, that you watch this recorded lecture because it's going to tell you exactly how to write the essay and how to outline it. The rubric, you'll always know exactly how I'm going to grade your stuff by looking at the rubrics. I've got a thesis worksheet that you're going to be submitting next week. This is to help you break down that parts of the thesis and write an effective thesis because oftentimes those are the hardest parts of an essay to get really strong. And then the compare and contrast outline. I talk about the outline in the recorded lecture video up here, but also if you want to download it and just fill it in with your own information, do that. Highly recommend that. So check out the compare and contrast outline right there. The last thing I want to show you, if you click on assignments here, it'll take you to the discussion boards. You do have discussion boards coming up this week. How is justice different for revenge? For example, it's going to ask you a couple questions and ask you to kind of brain dump. So free write, kind of get your brain around the ideas of revenge and justice. How would you define them? All of that good stuff. So take a look at that, familiarize yourself, respond through the discussion board. You're also going to be doing a discussion answering questions from Murder on the Orient Express, and that is going to be right here, Murder on the Orient Express. Questions for chapters 1 through 5. You'll see that there's 10 questions there. Do try and answer in complete sentences because this is a writing class, so it's good to practice our writing skills. Proofread carefully as always, and I'll be looking forward to reading what you've written. All of these videos are going to be posted in the announcements each week, so check it out. Reach out if you have questions. I'm here to help. Stay safe and healthy out there, folks. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing your writing.